do that, she was going to secretly take the Motorwagen on the world's very first long-distance road trip. What if I told you that the world's very first car had a flaw so serious it could have killed the entire idea of the automobile before it even got started? Well, today we're diving into the incredible story of this game-changing machine and the secret journey that saved it from becoming just a weird footnote in history. And that's the big question we're digging into today. We're going to uncover how one person's completely unauthorized road trip exposed a critical mistake in design, and by doing that, actually paved the way for every single car on the road today. All right, let's get right into it. Now, to really understand the mistake, you first have to appreciate just how absolutely mind-blowing the invention itself was. So picture this. It's 1885. Carl Benz has just built the Benz patent motor wagon. You have to remember, this is a world where everything moves by muscle, either yours or a horse's. The idea of a personal carriage moving on its own, with tiny controlled explosions, that wasn't just science fiction, it was practically magic. It was set to change absolutely everything. But, and this is a huge but, for all of its genius, the motor wagon was basically a brilliant idea trapped inside a workshop. It had one massive, fundamental problem. It simply wasn't designed to survive in the real world. And this slide just perfectly shows that disconnect. On one side, you've got this world-changing technology, but the reality was kind of pathetic. The car could only travel very short distances, and the biggest problem of all, there was no plan for refueling it. How are you supposed to replace the horse if you can't even get to the next town over? It was totally impractical. This is where our story gets really interesting, all thanks to one person who could see the potential beyond the four walls of a workshop. This brings us to the secret journey. So, 3 years later, in 1888, Carl Benz's wife Bertha got tired of watching this incredible invention just sit there gathering dust. She knew what it could do, even if her husband was still tinkering away, trying to perfect it in isolation. She decided it was time for a real-world test. So, she hatches this incredibly gutsy plan. Her mission was simple: prove the car actually worked. And to do that, she was going to secretly take the Motorwagen on the world's very first long-distance road trip. And she wasn't going to tell her husband. The goal was to show everyone, including Carl himself, that this wasn't just some novelty toy. It was the future of transportation. But as you can probably guess, taking a prototype on a journey it was never, ever designed for, well, it led to some pretty significant problems. It really didn't take long for the first and most obvious issue to pop up. The car ran out of fuel. And remember, there are no gas stations. Not a single one anywhere in the world, so she was stranded. So what does she do? She gets creative. Bertha knew that a petroleum-based solvent called Legroin, which was used as a cleaning fluid, could actually run the engine. And she knew exactly where to get it: the local pharmacy. And this is just so brilliant. By walking into that pharmacy to buy Legroin for her car, she, in that moment, creates the world's first ever gas station. It's a historic moment that was born purely out of necessity. Amazing. Oh, but the problems did not stop there. Not even close. The brakes, which were made of wood, totally wore out on the hills. So what does she do? She stops at a cobbler's shop and gets him to nail leather strips to the brake blocks, basically inventing the first ever brake pads. She even had to use her own hat pin at one point to clean out a clogged fuel line. It was just one problem after another. And all of these failures on the road, they pointed to something much bigger. It wasn't just about a weak engine or a small fuel tank. The mistake was in the entire philosophy behind the car's creation. And here it is. This is the core issue. The car was engineered as a brilliant invention, but it was never actually designed to be a usable product for a real person. Let's break that down because it's super important. An inventor's main question is, does it work? But a product designer asks, how will people actually use it? Carl Benz was focused on the tech in his workshop. Bertha's journey completely shifted the focus to the user experience, proving that you have to test things out in the real world. That was the missing link. But here's the amazing part. This story doesn't end with failure. In fact, every single breakdown Bertha had on that trip became the reason for the car's eventual success. Look at this. It's a perfect cause and effect. Every problem Bertha found became a task on Carl's to-do list. She ran out of fuel, He improved the fuel system. The brakes were out. He designed stronger, more durable brakes. The car was unreliable. Her feedback led directly to a more robust, dependable engine. Think about it. Her completely unauthorized, problem-filled road trip was actually the most valuable thing that could have happened. It was the world's first ever quality assurance test drive, and the feedback from that single trip is what transformed the motor wagon from a fragile experiment into a practical, real-world vehicle. And really, it all boils down to this one powerful idea. That journey, which from the outside looks like a total disaster, was actually the most innovative part of the car's creation. It proved that sometimes you have to break things in your real world to figure out how to build them right. So that leaves us with a final thought. We are surrounded by amazing, groundbreaking inventions today. So, what brilliant piece of technology do you think is still stuck in the workshop phase, just waiting for its own Bertha Benz moment to finally push it out into the real world and show us what it really needs to change our lives?